Hello YouTube. This video revolves around standard. Now I don't care, about what recently, happened, what's happening and about. All I know is that it was my mom's birthday yesterday. And this video is very informative, for people on my channel because what you need to understand, and realize is that, yeah, I've done a lot of things, purple, Rio, fucking freshman year, but what I'm going to tell you is something a little bit more in depth about people and about lessons in life, in industrial, to a point where you recognize that Ardenwood Farm is a form of gang when they reference it. Meaning, I grew up in Ardenwood. Ardenwood is the woods where they kill you. Okay, you see this Alice in Wonderland shirt is something I just bought from Walmart. And, brace yourself. There's a sequence in this video, and that thing, pieces of your heart, the A and B, I could automatically fuse with it, literally, and that could destroy the whole government, military, if you ask me. So the truth behind it, right, is the reason why it doesn't fuse is because the alien and the man upstairs want you to have a fair fight, okay? Literally, so, let's get started for this video. Okay, so this is all about, a girl, it's multiple things. This is multiple things for you. I'm letting all the beans out. Literally, a girl that I pulled, my freshman year, along with everything that explains the whole story. Her name is Raya. Her full name could be, Mariah Lisa looks Indian. This is a typical pretty girly, nothing like that. But once again, this is Eris12 clicking here. Once again, literally, this is a girlfriend I could have naturally got, when I was 14. And what happened was, to his best friends with Justin Wiseman, Lily, Ali, and everybody. You see how, playing names, guess what happened to them? They died. Because, see, like many people, like, Arturo's girlfriend, Alexia, the other one that looked just like Tati, but it was ugly but fine, kind of thick, Lily. She kept on texting on Facebook, when you gotta, let me get with the guy from West Virginia, when you gotta let me get with the guy from curly hair, and Riot did the same thing. And also my earlier Marissa did the same thing. A lot of people, cock about me for a lot of, relationships that were, natural, but they work hard ever since they're a little kid, and do them ever since they're like fucking 7, okay? And, what I did, recently was I explained, that I'm far beyond, American, even though I have fans that go, every single day. This is a serious fucking fight. Literally, because what happens is literally foreigners go in, out of America, and also they're aware of gangsters. Gangsters are, a big part about, COVID, because gangsters take away the educational system, saying, I control who goes out here, I control this is that, I'm the one who drives the girl. That's a big part of this video, and along with what Alex is doing, rest your soul, auntie. Really, this is really, really important because what happened, with Mariah, is they're on, and plus, if you're a big fan of my child like Morgan, there are multiple tests in PE, like, their American outfits, my favorite cosplayer, Mariah. Literally, there's Mariah, there's, there's not a Jordan, there's just a Jordan, but I don't know if I went out with her, but, there's multiple people, with the ink, it doesn't matter anymore. The main point is you forgot, okay? And so, in doing so, this video isn't gonna come out for a while, but in doing so, what ends up happening is because Ryan was so definite, and because they waited so long, and because they texted my Facebook over and over again with my name in their mouth, really, when you're trying to form so-called autism, let's explain something. I got a ticket from that school, literally, that says that I was trespassing, literally, and guess what I got yesterday when I played that stupid-ass video with Nyla? Literally, I got Mirage, this is that, oh, we're going to dance for, oh, we're doing this, and that. Literally, what's gonna happen right now if I go past that school campus? I get arrested, you understand? Literally, so no matter what futuristic thing you do about how fucking, Indian people are exaggerating and NASA, literally, that shit is how critical I get society, and that's how critical the situation actually is. That's why you can't fool me on paper, okay? Now, maybe a default situation on paper, but you can't fool me, okay? Literally, and that's one of the reasons. Literally, nobody, oh, right, you're a rider into the interdimensional world, this, and that. You still got to take it American, alright? And so, this is very important, and plus, I know about Mandela principles. So if you didn't know, literally, Uncle Tommy was, in charge of, the actual Mandela school. And I went to an Alpha Omega when Mass first came out. And if you don't know, he's a little blue villain in Teen Titans after I was Zane. That's how big the Ryan is in actual, Funimation. My Funimation, not the actual one, that controls the gay dubbing. So what did we establish, with Dan and all these other, things that's a current update on my channel that has to do with my family, We established that we are willing to work with less in order to take it down, but you don't know that mine isn't just more, that mine plays a for a gag principle. Okay, so let's this the sequence. I was supposed to say this for a Super Saiyan 3 video, but you know the girl I talk about most of my videos, Nikki? Nikki Morgan, if you're listening, was a girl I met on the dance floor. Literally, well, I didn't know how to dance, so I was pop rocking fucking Wrigley. It was starting to get loose, that little song for Lil Mama, that came out, literally, and I sounded, awkward, literally, and I did that, literally. And she was a lesbian on the dance floor, and I asked to dance with her. That was a part of the tradition. And, later on, secret breasts, this and that, with the LGBT, literally, still cheated on me, literally, it became one of the reasons why I was Master P today, okay? And that's true. And that's true, and that's, true through and through, okay? Literally, I'm ready to wear this, literally, with my Key Cat hat, this and that, literally, and have my audience say, you're 31 years old, you're dressed like a teenager. I'm really ready to do that, because I don't care anymore. Literally, you put me through a budget, maybe watch Downfalls, you maybe use Vivi. Literally, I've been saying this shit outside, literally, I had the full-on Yu-Gi-Oh cards, the things that I recognized that I was there, dope. That was the king of the anime community with the Japanese voice actor cards. Literally, guess what they did? They made me rely on a gang member. And it was even worse in the studio. When a gang teaches you how to do shit like Star Shimmo, literally, view things like a blood, literally, you forget that blood is still a gang, literally, and what I've done to a gang, and you still use it, And let's get on, to this actual movie, okay? This movie is called Stick It. You see how she's hella pretty? Watch, when you play this movie, it looks just like fucking Nikki. And it looks like a sequence, literally, this, and that. So, how did I get the Board of Education? A lot of people really wondering how I got it. I know martial arts, what I did was I took a step. I took a step for Board of Education, and I took a step forward, literally, all the way down the line. Literally, this is Uncle Tommy here, he killed you. And what my Mandela does, literally, is that Mandela is my build plus his build, his Bopper Weave, the story of everything with my force. Literally, to the point where it's the ultimate way, to get fucked up by Uncle Tommy or to make the movie Brick House Bandit, okay? Okay, so, Lily, let's move on, Lily, with the Mandela. What happened in Shinobi Striker, Lily, was, Jordan was there, Lily, and part of my, connection, you see how I told you, Lily, in high school, Lily, that I was a nerd? Well, I told you some people were concerned that, I was playing a video game too much, and that I was actually socially being accepted, and that I actually had a kid in high school when I was playing a video game, okay? Well, if I told you that, okay? Well, I told you that was one of the reasons why Jordan, alongside with Jennifer, started hacking me while I played Shinobi Striker, so I wouldn't get the outfit, so I wouldn't get the drip, all the way to the point where I had to redo the storyboard. But this time it didn't work. I've been stuck in this glitch for 2 years. Ever since I downloaded Shinobi Striker on the PS5, still characters like, Conan, Deidre, this and that, they made a level that I could not surpass, Lily, within Mandela. And guess what happened when I figured out? After learning how to be a blood for a year, Lily, and, going in and out of society, having lesbians treat me like Samurai Jack, guess what I figured out? There was this thing in Shinobi Striker where it was a defensive class, right? Lily, and it was a sleep class, and people kept coming in and out, and you couldn't kill them, and by the time was up, you couldn't kill them. So what happened is there was a compass in there, right? Literally, I didn't know what that compass was for, but that's the excuse. That's how Mandela works. You see how I couldn't, beat that level before? So what happened was I used Mama, Kagura, as a DLC, support, right? And I used the ultimate special to help me, defeat the niggas easier, right? So here's what happened. Literally, during the level, literally, I went to a compass in the middle and started loading up and saying, see, that's how Mandela works. Literally, you've been beamed by that level, in and out, and all of a sudden, when you get in the middle, it loads something. And when you load something, when they kind of kept on attacking you, literally, you find a loophole. So once it went 100%, guess what happened? More time. You got more time to do it, and there was a whole bunch of this. So after that, I finally beat that level, and I finally got the thing. Now I got the equipment for the Shinobi Striker. Yes, VV is a blood in and out, so you need to stop disrespecting me. Literally, you need to understand the reason why I'm not inflammation, literally, is because it's bad and how domestic violence works, literally. If you're in the studio, it's bad because the uncle can still fuck you up in the studio, because the main example of it, literally, is society is compared to autism. And when you get cause effect, you're like, what the fuck? Autism talks about nothing big. Autism isn't this, and that. Literally, you end up loving cause effect. Literally, that's the truth. Literally, and autism is a form of retardation. These are retards, basically. I'm talking about the same thing, right? And what they do is literally they convince you literally that you're supposed to talk about the same thing when back in the corner, but they try to get you for a sex or a crime. And so I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. You see this whole thing, literally. I want this video to be longer. I want this video to be more intricate, really. But Nikki looks just like the guy in the video, literally. And it's true. It's completely fucking true. Okay. And, they've been fucking with me so much lately to the point where they use my boom bass, they double it by nasty, but make me think that my voice is, lower than before. In reality, it's deeper than the guy downstairs. And guess what ends up happening, what I call him Trozilla. I be fucking with the domestic violence crew so much lately. Well, I'm like, hey, Trozilla, you know how I'm scared of him because he has the rights, and everything in real life. Well, he's like, well, we can go in the corner if you want, call it Trozilla. You know how I asked him, literally to a fight before, and I backed out when he was in charge, right? Guess what ends up happening? I'm so mature, literally, I'm all like, what he's talking about, let's fight and stuff like that. Like, we just fight over the same girl, the one that's in the house. And it's over. It's fucking over. But, one thing you have to, realize critically, what I'm trying to get across. It's not just the cause and effect. It's the common sense behind the thing. I made everybody a character formation. I made Domino a character. I made Baba Cita a character. I made Poke a character. And Poke is, Rodents, by the way. Literally, Crystal Apple statue is two characters that I made. Literally, every single person that I love was supposed to be a character in Nas. Literally, so when I make the plan, I waited for producers. Literally, like Tyler Perry, guess what? I was in a default situation, but the default was also a part of my gangster strategy. Literally, so I used So Sorry, literally how he fades, literally how he has no feet, literally how he this, and that. Literally, and it fucked myself up for so much. So guess what? When I can barely survive, I prove the point is when I prove the point that I was, extravagant, elaborate, versus magnificent, things that are bad, And that's the whole point of Kingdom Hearts. You don't think Kingdom Hearts literally had Mandela in it? Alexia liked me so much in junior high. Over when I was at Israel's house, literally the game stopped playing out of nowhere. Literally, I know what gangsters can do. They can stop their feet. They can do this, and that. Literally, they can make it being literally you versus me and doing wrong. Literally, they can stop the game from doing it completely. And that's how Gobstock shit sometimes. Literally, I'm telling you, I know all this shit. You can't treat me like a little kid anymore. I did everything before 30. And I was dangerously close to getting, the car. At 28, literally beat my brother in the arcade when driving. Which is the same formula, but a car is a little bit more intricate. But the main point is you're focusing on the fucking road, literally fucking you're not trying to speed up like literally the arcade, literally when you try to get first place, but anyway, I forgot the tie shit I've got to say for the video, but 95% was there. But anyway, this is Mootrix, I'm out.